Alrighty. Hello, people. Just getting started here. Give it a couple of seconds. That should be good. What is going on? You are watching and, of course, listening to Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition, where we're here every Wednesday night on the Crowdcast platform. I am your host, Steve V, and this is episode 563 alongside Kodi, Maurice, Doggette. How the hell you doing, Kodi?
Hello, darling. I'm doing wonderful this evening. How are you, babe?
I'm doing really good here. It's a beautiful day here in the city. I heard Kansas had some tornado weather. Is that true?
Oh, sister, yes. It was really scary, actually. I've never been
I
in
mean,
a
I heard
tornado
this. No, I
before.
mean it. Yeah, seriously,
Yeah,
it
it
sounded
was
scary.
wild. We all went outside and looked at the sky, and it looked like they were starting to form from the clouds. I have a picture.
Ooh,
I'll send it to you later. It was
okay.
really wild, and it just starts raining out of nowhere,
Oh my
and I
goodness.
said, "Where is the basement at?" Because we needed an exit strategy real quick.
Wow, that's crazy. Well,
It
stay
was
safe
wild.
there over
Thank you,
in
babe.
Kansas. It is actually Jockstrap Appreciation Day, International Jockstrap Appreciation Day on this Wednesday, May 1st. May 1st, Kodi, which is also exciting.
Right?
It's also Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. So, hello to all our brothers, sisters, non binary people that are of the AAPI heritage. We see you, we welcome you, and we are in front of a live virtual audience. Hello, Doug. Hello, Bryce. I see a few more people trickling in, and we will get to all of them as the night goes on. But so much to get into on this Wednesday night, Kodi, starting with Darren Criss, who was just recently being interviewed. And many of you know Darren Criss from his days back in Glee. He played a gay
Hmm.
character. Darren is actually heterosexual. Many of you will remember when he played Andrew Cunanan, I believe
Hmm.
that's his
I
name.
believe so.
He was the man who murdered Versace, and that was so good on FX platform. He's done so many great things. He's a singer. I think he's great. He recently said that he is culturally queer, and hear him out. He said, "It was fucking awesome playing a gay teen on Glee opposite Chris Colfer. Nowadays, we just call it a relationship on TV, but to contextualize it, a gay relationship on mainstream Fox, that's a pretty cool thing to be a part of. And I've been so culturally queer my whole life, not because I'm trying, actually, I was going to say not because I'm trying to be cool, but I'm going to erase that because I am trying to be cool. 90% of the shit in my life that I have tried to emulate, learn from, and be inspired are by 100% queer as fuck." And so the statement continues to go on, but he's also talking about he grew up in San Francisco back in the day,
Hmm.
and his uncle was gay, and he grew up around HIV and HIV positive men. And I grew up in San Francisco myself as well. And being there, San Francisco is a very tight community, specifically during certain periods. And I'm talking about obviously the 60s, but then you move on to the 70s and 80s, and even the 90s were really communal, and you could really feel the community. You still can today, but really back then, particularly when men HIV was really prevalent during that period. And so I think that him saying he's culturally queer just means that he's been surrounded by that. And I'm here for it. I think he's one of the most talented singers out there. I think he's such a great actor. I think he's very handsome. And we want him as an ally. So if he wants to be part of our community, I say absolutely. What do you say to this?
Well, I agree with a lot that you said as far as him being a very talented actor and musician and a fierce ally to our community because he has played all those parts. Most of them, a lot of them are gay parts, and I'm totally fine with that. He does it with so much love and appreciation of our culture, but I don't think he could be culturally gay or queer or for me personally, it is about more than the positive aspects of our culture, which I feel like he has more access to. It's also about the negative aspects of our culture and who we are as a community. Darren Criss didn't
Right,
have
but
to
I
come
said
out.
he talked about HIV and growing up with
Yeah,
an uncle that had it, and that
I get it.
the really like that's nothing happy about that period and that time
No, I
and
get
what he
that.
went
I get
through.
that. Yeah, I was getting to that part. He didn't have to come out to his family. He didn't have to uh, be a kid and be worried about people finding out that he is gay. And yes, he did experience loss from the HIV epidemic when he was younger, as far as his uncles were concerned. But when it was known as a gay disease, he didn't have to worry about getting it. He doesn't have the same experiences as gay people. And I fully want him to be able to appreciate our culture, and I welcome him in and he can come celebrate with us and be a fierce ally. But I don't think that he could culturally identify as queer. I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's more culturally queer, is especially he didn't say gay, he said queer, which encompasses a little bit more and more of a cultural thing versus just like gay men.
Mm-hmm.
And I think also culturally queer, it's the culture that he was surrounded by. I don't think he said, if he said, I identify as or I'm a part of, think he just said, I feel culturally queer my whole life because of the people that he's been surrounded with. I don't think this is a really bad thing for somebody to say this. I think there's more things to get upset over when people
I'm yeah. I'm not upset.
appropriate or if people take on, there's homophobia out there. And so I think if he wants to, I've been appointed by some friends within the Black community, and they said, well, you've been inducted into our community. And I said, thank you. And it doesn't mean that I identify as Black, but it's
Yeah.
just, I grew up with a lot of Black culture, and there's so many things that I don't know because I didn't grow up with it. But people have told me, and I just think it shouldn't be taken so seriously, and I don't think he meant it in a way to take anything away from a community at all.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I don't think that it's something to get really upset over, but I would like for him to make the distinction between, him appreciating gay culture and actually being culturally gay. I think that that's where it took.
Queer, he's
Sorry,
culturally
queer,
queer, which is
culturally
totally
queer.
to me
I
different.
apologize. Okay, and I get that. I
Because
just
gay
I
men
just
are
disagree.
gay and we have that whole thing. Queer encompasses like more than just sexuality. Like I like men. Women can be queer, all of our LGBTQ often can identify often as queer, and it's like
Maybe I should
more
have a
cultural.
conversation about him, about what he actually means by that, because I would like to pick his brain about it and find out where he's coming from when he says this, because it's something that really interests me and I feel like he could give us more insight into where he's coming from. But as it
I think he
stands,
said it kind of the way I think it's probably not as deep as maybe you're trying to go with him. I just think he's just been surrounded by the queer and by playing roles and growing up in San Francisco and having family members and he's kind of feels culturally queer in many ways. He understands that a lot of it, but he's not identifying as
yeah,
it's
and to me that reads like a Rachel Dolezal kind of sort of. So I don't know.
I see. Yeah. It didn't bother me at all. I love him. I
I
mean,
love him. I love him, but I
yeah. And I don't think he meant it in
he
any
doesn't have our
harmful way.
experiences. Yeah,
Right.
and that's fine.
But he's had a lot of our experiences, I think, because of, like I said, the HIV, and to repeat the same things over and over, he's had a lot of them without maybe, because not everyone's plight of coming out was this traumatic
True.
experience. And
I agree
so
with that.
to say that, oh, well, he didn't have the whole coming out story, and it's like, well, a lot of people that are queer didn't have that. They just came and their parents were like, great, welcome.
And
I
maybe
mean,
maybe it wasn't traumatic, but they still had to come out, which is something that a straight person will never have to do.
yeah, and I just think he's not saying he is gay or queer. He's simply saying I've grown up culturally queer. I think there's a
Yeah.
distinction there of saying I identify as he says he's grown up culturally queer. And so
Yeah,
that to me doesn't have any problem. I don't have any problem with it, but
Okay.
People are saying, hello, Durand. We see you. Bryce says, and I'm culturally straight in this country. He's saying queer because that is the best bet for income. I don't think he's going for income. I think he's already made his
Oh yeah,
career all
he's
these years. There's no
solidified.
reason at this point for him to,
And
continually
also,
say that.
if he was really worried about his income, he probably wouldn't have played gay all those times. So
Exactly.
exactly.
When
So
Glee was out and during those periods, which wasn't as accepting as it is even today. So
yep. Yeah. I love Darren
um
Criss. I don't want anybody to think that I don't like him, but I just think I need a little bit more clarity as far as what he means by this.
yeah, and sometimes people have issues with certain terminology that people say. And I mean, I
Yeah.
heard this in a different story, and the host of that show was saying that he, as a gay man, he thought that Darren was maybe putting us all in a monolith, or that we're all
Oh.
have the same experiences as gay people. And again, I'm like, it's not gay. He's saying queer, but okay, everyone's like, quit putting words in his mouth. He said queer, but he didn't really. It rubbed him a little, even though he likes Darren too. And so I get it. For me, it didn't bother me at all. And I
Yeah.
actually, the moment I read it, I was like, I loved it. But it's just, I get it. And that's what we're here to do. Somebody else that was in the news that was talking about our community, and this time she used the word gay, and I'm talking about
Okay.
Jenifer Lewis. Jenifer Lewis says the gays made her career and paid her mortgage. She's not mincing any words. The mother of Black Hollywood for so many incredible roles. I mean, come on, what's love got to do with it? Poetic Justice,
Ooh.
The Preacher's Wife, just to name a few. There's a show I've been watching on her on Showtime that I
Oh, I love
really
that show.
love. That show, really good. She was asked about, she said, I had a blast over there working at RuPaul's Drag Race. Ru said to me after the show, thank you for being so sweet to my girls. I had to be sweet, she said. Those are my babies. You guys made my career, honey. You all paid my mortgage. You guys love me for one reason. I love you. It's as simple as that. And her love, she went on to say, is the gays she used as well have made her career. I mean, I love Miss Jenifer Lewis. She's the life that keeps on giving and giving. And she's not mincing any words. She's just saying that they paid her mortgage, which I think is really good too. But she hasn't played queer roles. And so, what do you say to Miss Jenifer Lewis?
I love her. And first of all, the show that we were talking about, it's called I Love That for You or something
I
like
love
that.
that for you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, so good.
And she is stellar in that role. And all of her roles. Have you seen Jackie's Back? Because they reference it in this story, this article. Have you seen it?
I have not. What is
Oh my
it?
God, we have to watch it. It's an iconic camp movie about she plays a not disgrace, but like a relic of a pop star. She was a child star, and then she grew up, and she had some success, and then it all went away, and she's trying to recapture her success. And so
Ooh.
many stars are in it. It's hilarious. So sometimes I put Coco's Revenge when we record on Zencaster, and it's from that movie.
Oh my goodness. Okay, we have to watch that.
We'll watch it on July 14th. I think is Jackie Washington Day. So we can make an event of it. It's amazing.
Ooh,
I love Mama Jenifer.
okay. Love
She
that.
I'm glad to pay her mortgage. She is such an ally to this community. And she even took Shangela in and let her live with her while Shangela was her assistant. So she loves us. She's our
What if
mother.
she wants to take that back though now, being that we reported on Shangela? I'm just
Shame.
saying, she might want to think about who she brings in, but
Oh, you're right.
for reference, Shangela
Oh
was in the
no.
news for allegedly, we think, right?
Allegedly, yes.
Dare I use the word rape?
Yes.
Raping?
I
Yeah.
mean, That's the allegation. So you
That's the
can't mince
allegations and
words.
not one. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to Miss Jenifer. We love her, and we can pay her mortgage, no problem. She could throw some coin over here, though. That would be nice.
She could take us in, right? Let's
Yes,
go.
thank you. Forget Shangela.
Forget Shangela. I'm not over here being accused of what she's being accused of. That's how I put that.
Well, Kodi, the number one movie right now, the number one movie at the box office is Challengers, and it is heating up a storm. It's the one with Zendaya, who plays a tennis, I think a coach, and
Yes.
it's really it looks very sexy. And Vogue just did a whole piece on it saying that Challengers is turning sweat into this spring's sexiest accessory, because there's a lot of you've probably all heard about it if you haven't been living under a rock, but there's a whole steam room scene where the guys are in there sweating, and then there's another scene where she comes and tucks them into bed apparently, and there's more sweating going on. They're obviously working up a sweat on the tennis courts. And this person writing the story for Vogue said that sweat is like the latest thing, because for years, Vogue says that we've always been trying to hide from sweat and do everything to cover up perspiration, dare we say, and all that stuff. And it's like, thank goodness sweat is coming back. I think our community, actually, at least gay men, are fine with sweating. Many of us go to the gym a lot. We're on the dance floor sweaty. I mean, I was getting busy with somebody for my OnlyFans just yesterday shooting a scene, and he was really hot and sweaty, and it was really a turn on. I really loved it. I don't mind it in bed when we're hot and sweaty. It just adds to the whole allure. I mean, as long as everyone's clean to begin with, a layer of sweat. I mean, I just came back from Puerto Vallarta where you couldn't help. We would go jogging and running, my sister and I, every morning, and we would be like pouring sweat. Sweat is good. I love it. I think it's really sexy when it's appropriate. And I'm not talking about underarm sweat. I mean, just mean like, you know what I mean? Where, yeah, none of that. Or
Yeah.
BO. I'm not talking about that. I'm just.
Oh, BO was something completely different.
Right. I mean, I usually take a shower before I go to the gym. So that sweat then is that glistening, nice sweat. How do you feel about sweat and what this Vogue is saying is the hot new accessory? Do we all need to have a little bit of shine going on at all times when we do this show from now on?
Ooh, oh my gosh, I'll get some rose water. And I think sweat.
Oh, I love rose water.
I think Sweat is a very good song by CNC Music Factory from the 90s.
Oh, wow. Okay. You're going way back.
No,
Sweat.
baby. I like sweat in certain circumstances. When I go to the gym, I try very hard not to sweat, even though I'm pushing myself. But
Are
here
you
lately,
kidding me?
I am not kidding you.
I'm
I am
like
not
pouring
kidding you.
sweat often because I'm drinking one of those energy drinks that really hypes up your whole metabolism. And I'm usually like, oh my God, I'm the only like patting myself down. But I'm like, whatever, it's a gym. And I wipe down the equipment so it's not
Yeah.
gross.
Yeah, I wipe my equipment down before. Oh, thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
I wipe down my equipment before I actually get on the machine because some people are crazy. No, I don't like the sweat. I think it just makes me uncomfortable and sticky, and I don't like the feeling of it on my body when I'm working out. Here lately, I have been sweating a lot more because I've been doing a lot more cardio when I'm here in Kansas. But
Kansas.
Kansas. But I do think that in certain situations, like in the bedroom, when I'm not sleeping, because if I was sleeping and I was sweating, it would be a completely different story. I'd be so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But when you're in that moment with somebody and they're getting it in and you are putting in the work and you're both perspiring from the heat of the moment, and it is just magical, and
Yeah.
it adds a little bit more cushion for the pushing, and it's great. I love to sweat it out when you're in the bedroom.
Absolutely, just not sleep sweaty because that's just so uncomfortable. Like you can't be hot. I would also say one of my favorite dates to do is to go on a hike. And then if you're hiking, you're going to be sweating, and I love looking over at whoever I'm hiking with and seeing them sweat too. I just think that's really sexy, and we're both putting in a hard workout for something that's really rewarding and beautiful. Caladad watching us says, "What's wrong with underarm sweat?" Nothing. I mean, we all have underarm sweat. I just mean that, like, if you went to a wedding or a really nice event and you're trying to not sweat, and then underarm pit stains, I can't stand that. For me
Really?
personally, no, I can't stand that. I mean, if I see that's just ruin the whole look. And maybe because when I was younger, I used to sweat there and it would bother me so much. And so I did everything to get rid of that. And so, but no, we all sweat there and that's just a normal part. But
not if we get Botox under our underarms, which I want to try.
Yeah, I mean, I did that years ago, and that's what worked for me because I think I had over excessive underarm sweating at the time.
Yeah,
and it bothered me, and that when you didn't want just that area, pit stains is not attractive to me. So, yeah, but there are things you can do now, which is really great.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, yes. Okay, good. I think we moving on to, we got to talk about Lil Nas X because he, at the beginning of the year, released a brand new single under his label Columbia called J. Christ with this huge, massive music video. We were talking about it at the time. It had a lot of religious references. It was pretty expensive looking, right, Kodi? We were just talking about, like, my goodness.
I just watched it. Sorry.
You okay over there? Yeah.
Causing an earthquake here in Kansas too.
Oh my
goodness. The tornado.
Well, that single failed to really chart that well. He made the best of it because it went up to 69 and he had a field day with that. Hey, my new single went to 69, y'all. Obviously referencing the sexual position, but that's as far as it ever got. They released a second one called Where Do We Go Now? A more ballad-like, and that one didn't even chart and no video was ever made. Well, just this past week, he released a brand new single, but not on the label, actually on his SoundCloud. And he said before he used to release like mixtape music on his SoundCloud, and any new music that he puts out there may or may not live on there for very long, so don't get too attached to it. But he said, I'm really proud of this song called Trust Me. And again, it's not off from the label. It's just like this new single that's coming off of it. And it's all in reference when he was growing up. And we're talking about like middle school and high school. Here's some of the lyrics. He says, cap and gown, I graduated and got out of town. Grinder sessions, sexting with faceless accounts, bringing my bodies in me, then sneaking them out. He raps over some bouncy 808s. What's 808s, Kodi?
It's a drum machine.
Okay, thank you.
It's what they used to make the beats.
Thank you. More quotes. Back in the middle school, I was fiending for dick. 7th grade, sending my homies some pics. Daddy never knew what I did as a kid. He would have crucified me, but trust me, I get it. Trust me, I get it. Are just some of the lyrics. He goes on to talk about getting on prep. I'm ready for the worst. I'm fucking way more than I deserve. I ain't seen a doctor in some months, just the COVID vaccination nurse. So obviously this was written during COVID. And then he says, yeah, I wrap it up for most Magnum rappers on the kitchen floors. Platinum rappers never could relate to me. We just on some whole different goals. Never have I said by soul, but I got over 40 million sold. How if I'm only 24, mind of a 42-year-old? This song, I like the lyrics. I actually listened to it. I liked it. I didn't love it. What did you think of it? And what do you think the honesty of these lyrics as opposed to maybe the first two singles? This is more raw and more sexual in nature and honest.
So I really love that part. I'm going to start with the positives.
Yeah.
Maybe I should finish with the positives, but I already started. So I think that the content and where he's coming from and him being brutally honest and vulnerable with his audience is fantastic. I probably am going to listen to the song a couple more times. I like Jay Christ better, honestly. I feel
Okay.
like the flow is tighter. I feel like the hook on this song is a little bit too simplistic for my liking, and I feel like the beat is a little bit too simple as well. But I mean, maybe that's what he's going for. My first listen to it, I did not. It didn't like
Pull you in.
grab me
Yeah.
exactly. And I think that I just have to listen to it a couple more times because I'll probably end up liking it because it did touch me when he was talking about all of the issues and topics that he was going through during that time. So I like it.
Listen, music industry is not easy by any means,
Yeah.
especially today. What do you think about the fact that he was such a superstar and had number ones? And of course, he came out with that documentary, and it all seems to be kind of going down in terms of popularity. And that's not everything for every artist. It just seems like he seems to really want to be iconic and known for being kind of in the ethosphere, the main ethosphere right now.
Uh, I I think that it's great that he. You know what? The music industry is a roller coaster ride. It goes up, it goes down, and for artists with longevity like Madonna, like Janet Jackson, there are going to be these moments when they are not, where everything is not where they were before. I don't want to call it a flop because I don't believe in that. I believe
Right.
that he is going through a lower period than the success he had had before. And I honestly attribute it to Jay Christ because I went to that YouTube video and I read some of the comments on there, and there were a lot of negative comments on there about Jay Christ, even though I think it's a better song, honestly. What do
Yeah,
you
that's
think?
I didn't love the song. I thought the video was like spectacular in so many ways. It looked really expensive, but it didn't really resonate with me. It's not something that I wanted to keep listening to. And so, yeah, he's not really striking with me right now, but maybe it's just him right now and he'll turn it around and come back, but it's not working for me right now. So, I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll
and I'm sure
see.
he's very talented, so I'm sure he will
Yes.
come back and he'll, as long as you're being honest, all you can do is release the music and see where it
Right.
goes from
I
there.
like the honesty of this song, though. I think it's really
Me
good.
too.
And
Yeah.
certainly works for our show, talking about things that we can all relate to.
I
Speaking
mean,
of
I thought he was
relating,
I thought he was on the show when he was going through all that stuff.
speaking of relating, Sniffies, who we talk a lot about the apps. Sniffies, it's not an app actually. It's a platform that you go on. We've talked about it before. Well, Sniffies now has filters for age, body type, and endowment size. That's right, you heard me. This past Tuesday, April 30th, map-based cruising platform Sniffies announced that its latest feature, filters, Cruiser filters, which will allow users to filter their searches by different metrics such as age, preferred sexual positions, endowment size, body type, and sexuality. And they said this in a press release, quote, by leveraging this advanced filtering system, users can effortlessly discover fellow cruisers who align with their preferences, ensuring more meaningful connections and encounters. I'm going to put my glasses on so I can read the rest of this stuff because I can't see today. Yeah, they got a little bit of flack, as you can imagine, for some of this because this is sort of the age old, oh, are we discriminating towards certain groups? And now we're asking people, you can filter their ages. By the way, you don't have to put these filters on,
Mhm.
but Sniffies has said that since they launched it, well, they just launched it, so far people are using it like a lot. And so,
What?
yeah, I mean, I'm kind of on the fence with this one because while I think I don't mind endowment size, putting that on there, that's kind of cool. And
I think that's the one that's getting used the most, I feel like.
but the thing about Sniffies is that it's all about the platform based cruising. So cruising in the bar scene is about going out and looking around and seeing who you meet and things of that nature. And I feel like they're trying to do this in the app version of it but you don't get to ask all those questions like age, and you get to see what somebody looks like. You get to see somebody's endowment, and you get to see what's the other thing that they're asking besides, I said, what are the 3 filters that you can use on it? I had it here. Okay, well, anyways, what do you think of
body type?
Body type, yeah. I mean, it's not that much different than the apps are doing. Do you like this feature that you can kind of filter out?
I don't really use that type of filter very often. I use it when for sexual position the most, and I think that is the most utilized thing that I utilize it for, and I think it's the most the best one as far as all of those are concerned, because when you go to cruise, you don't automatically know who's the bottom or who's the top. So I think that they should add that one. I don't know if it's on there just yet, but I feel like they should add that, because it's something I want to know right from the get-go, because if we're not compatible sexually, then why am I even sniffing you? Because
yeah.
But the rest of them I don't really partake in that much. I feel like I really look at the profile and I chat with them a little bit to see if I'm actually interested in them, because at the end of the day, hot is hot, and you could be 102. As long as you're hot, I will fuck you. So
I agree with that too, is that these are things that, well, it's adding more features, and it's great that they have a press release, and it's bringing more engagement and awareness of the Sniffies brand. We're talking about it, so maybe it'll get more people to go to it in many ways. And we had the marketing director on as a guest on our show a while back, and I really like the brand. I like that it's all about more of a cruising online platform, and that part of it I like. I don't know that I would necessarily use it too, because I just think that I'm attracted to, and it's not always based on those things that they're filtering out. And so I just think I probably wouldn't use it. And I don't obviously ask people those. I mean, I see when I am cruising in real life what I'm attracted to. I might go towards somebody that has an endowment that I like, or, you know, things of those nature, but I don't know that I would really use this per se, because I would feel like I would, especially the age thing too, I'd feel like it would be weeding out people. I mean, I wouldn't want somebody to use it that was, if I was on the app, because I've been told I don't look my age, and I could already be eliminated from a whole pooling of people. And 9 times out of 10, people are like, oh my God, I didn't believe you're that age. And so I would want to be included in a wider pooling of people than say what my age really is, because I would not be in the mix.
Oh, I totally agree with you. And that's what I was going to say as well. I really worry that is something that's going to transpire here, and I'm really worried about myself, honestly, because a lot of people do not, they filter out people based on age, and honey, I can put it down as well or even better than a 20-year-old. Okay, so please don't filter out the people. I feel like it should be something that is taken in a case-by-case basis, and you guys should just personally, from my personal perspective, my opinion is that people should just see how they vibe with other people. Right. Did you know that I am a Sniffies Pro member, and they have a lot of other amenities too. I feel like this is Sniffies app now, ad now, because I've been dropping my location. Remember that Grindr thing that you could drop your location in other cities? I've been dropping my location in other cities, and I've been upsetting a lot of dudes, unfortunately, when I tell them that I'm not actually there. I'm like, well, I'm actually not there. I was just looking to see if I should go to that place that they are. I've been looking in Canada.
They're like, thanks for wasting your time. Well, since we're talking more about it, I mean, Bryce is actually saying he downloaded it, but how do you manage not becoming attached after a hookup? Well, Sniffies is not you're right. He said, maybe I'm on the wrong app. Platform is what we're calling it, because it's not an app. But yeah, I think you probably are, because it is meant to be cruising, and cruising is not necessarily finding romance. And so I don't think we talked to the guy and he said that it's more of a hookup type of thing. So Khaled says staying detached is difficult. Oh, he was responding. Great. Is Sniffies available for iPhone? Again, it's not an app, it's a platform. So you could simply go like on any of your phones and just type in sniffies.com, a Google search or Safari search, and it'll pull it up. You can create a profile. You can be anonymous if you want to be anonymous. You could also put more information as you see fit. You could do a pro level like Kodi's doing, and you get a little bit more perks. But in general, it's not an app, a platform. So
yes,
I hope that answers a lot of questions, and I hope we get our kickback from Sniffies. But yes, okay, all right. Staying on not on topic with that, but we wanted to. So we were talking a little bit about Sniffies and how some people are finding it like discriminating towards. Well, let's switch gears to talk about a former Miss Gay Universe, Paul Stumpy Davies, who made history for being a disabled queer representative for the community. Back in 2017, he was Mr. Gay Wales, and then he later followed it up with Mr. Gay Universe. And he was born with a disability where part of his arm actually he didn't have. And so he has lived with it just fine. He came up with the name Stumpy for it. And he's gone on to do some really great things, including after winning both of those crowns, he is now on local television. The Welsh network S4C announced its popular news magazine show, Hino, that it was returning with an all-new look and new presenters, including Davies as one of its man-on-the-street reporters. So he's doing really well, and he still says, though, when he goes out and when he's trying to hook up with people, that he still feels like he's always having to explain his disability. Sometimes even now, quote, he says, when I go out onto a new scene, I feel as if I'm starting again and think, oh God, here come the questions. He shared with attitude. People automatically label that I can't do this or that I have to go through the whole stage of proving them wrong again. But now I realize that's just a lack of education and people need to open their eyes a little bit. And he wants to give some inspiration to people with visible disabilities and say, look, you can do it. You can do this. You can make a difference. Don't hide away. Don't put your hand in your pocket because you feel somebody's going to judge you. And I think this is really a great example. We don't talk enough about people with disabilities. And it reminded me of another article that I saw that gave 5 tips for when you're talking to disabled people on dating apps. And they say it's actually easier than you think.
Yeah.
Many of us are probably afraid. Number 1, don't expect us to tell you we are disabled right away. That's a good one. Initial contact on any dating app is usually largely superficial, with pictures and a quick bio being what draws people in. Saying you have a disability right on your bio makes it more likely that a person might over or underestimate your level of disability. So instead, this person says that disabled folks will often talk as a way to establish rapport before disclosing their disabled status. So you can find out this way, which is a little bit quicker than just actually don't expect them to tell you right away. Number 2, don't totally ghost someone after they tell you they are disabled. And this is probably the biggest one. So many times this person was vibing with somebody thinking it was good, and then they just got radio silence. And the fact is, it takes a ton of courage for us to tell you about our disability, says the writer. So respect that if it's truly an issue, if you simply cannot sleep at night or you feel as if a disability demon might process you as soon as you enter us, find a polite way to tell us. I like that. Number 3, balance out your questions. For example, don't make them all about the person's disability. And I think that's really good. This is the same for the person, Mr. Gay Universe, is just like he's inundated with questions. And so I think, yeah, don't make it all about their disability. Number four, don't make it weird when you meet up. Opening up with something you've noticed about them unrelated to their disability is a great way to let them know you already see them as more than just a medical curiosity. And lastly, give us a chance. And I like that last one too, because, you know, I mean, everybody deserves a chance, and they can do everything that everybody else can do, and so it's just give them a chance. And so, when you heard this, Kodi, what did you think about the 5 tips that they give, and also the former Mr. Universe?
Well, I think the former Mr. Universe, Mr. Gay Universe, Paul, is fantastic. I'm not going to call him Stumpy. I don't know that man like that. So I'm just going to call him Paul. And
yeah, he said he did that for humor too,
I
because putting
know,
humor
and
first.
I get that, and I love that for him, and I would like to meet him before I start calling him that Stumpy. So I not only is he handsome, but he's very smart. He seems very charismatic and like just an all-around good guy. So I think that he's excellent representation. I totally agree with all the tips for chatting with somebody with a disability, especially that first one, because I feel like it's more of a protection for them. So people can be very mean, and I understand that if you want to feel somebody out before you actually disclose information that could be sensitive to them, then I feel like that is something that they have to do to protect themselves, and I feel like they are completely entitled to that. You're not owed any explanation about anything. They will tell you at some point, but right off the bat, before they know you, that's like, it's too much information too soon, basically, is what I think.
Right.
I want to tell a little story quickly. Yes. I hooked up with a deaf guy one time in band camp, not in band camp. It was amazing. And as soon as I got over my insecurities and my preconceived notions about how this was going to go, it got really hot. And he had a fantastic body, and I enjoyed him, and he enjoyed me, and he let me know that he enjoyed me. So it was a very connected experience. So I'm telling you, don't disclude anyone because of any certain situation. If you find them attractive, please just go ahead and explore.
Yeah, and especially like your example too. I mean, deaf, he probably spoke or not spoke, used sign language.
He spoke. He could
But I mean, he
communicate that
used
way.
sign language, and that's another form of a language that he used. And I mean, I've slept with people that I had a great time with people that we didn't speak the same language, and yet we spoke the same language in bed. And so we got it together. So absolutely, I'm sure. Wonderful. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about twinks or Mistwinkifying, because apparently we are Mistwinkifying. It's a term. And why is this a problem? We all know the word twink, and over the weekend, because of this #1 movie, Challengers, X, gay Twitter was having a field day of twink fights in movies from 2024. And the 2 fights they pointed out to were Mike Faced versus Josh O'Connor, the 2 gentlemen that are in Challengers, versus Timothée Chalamet versus Austin Butler, who are in Dune Part 2. Well, many were having a field day with that, but many also pointed to the fact that the only one that really kind of looks like a twink was Timothée Chalamet, because as twinks go, you're usually a little bit more on the thin side, right? And leaner and skinny, hairless, and the others were a little bit too muscular according to Twitter. Well, misidentifying someone as a twink has been coined Mistwinkifying, courtesy of X account computer_gay, who quoted the twink fight post and wrote, "Mistwinkifying people might be the most successful engagement hack of all time." They also said that they're taking poetic license too, because these guys aren't even queer? And to go back to our earlier topic, are we misappropriating the title of twinks in general? Kodi, what do you think about this debate that was online? It was on gay Twitter, by the way, that people were going back and forth. So it was our community that was creating these until somebody decided to make it like twinkifying.
So I think that when you start giving,
excuse me.
yeah, I think that when you start giving straight people our words, when they start to take our stuff, they just be giving it to everybody. Now everybody's a twink,
and everyone's slaying it.
And oh my gosh, I cannot. And I think that this is ridiculous. I do feel like a gatekeeper of some sort as far as the gay
you
culture
are kind
is
of
concerned.
A gatekeeper for this.
I know, and it doesn't make me feel good, but this is my perspective.
Because I don't even care, really. I mean, not that serious to me. And I think, well, let me just make my point really quickly that I want you to make. Yes. I just think that if our culture, our LGBTQ plus culture, queer community our language is spreading out, it's a beautiful thing that we have an impact. We've always had an impact on the greater culture, and this is no different a time than now. And I just think we'll be on to new words and new thoughts. But go ahead on what you think. I'm just not sure if these guys are considered twinks, and then we'll get into what is really considered a twink and that age mark.
Well, I feel like they are taking. I feel like twink. In order to be a twink, it is inherently gay. I feel like that is part of the definition. It's a gay man that is slender and is
You're
hairless.
So emphatic
and
about
young.
that.
I am
a gay man.
It's starting to piss me off.
Okay, Kodi.
I've had this energy all day. No, I mean, sue me. It's just what I think. I think that it's something that is specific to our culture. What are they going to take next? Are they going to take bears from us? Are we going to I don't know what else. I feel like they're trying to take all of our words from us.
I'm gonna start. Doesn't bother me, but what does bother me is I think the thing about it that doesn't bother me, but this next Reddit, which asks the question that relates to this, and they ask the question, is there an age limit on being a twink? I don't get this. I thought it was just a body type, but then some people started saying it's just young gays. So Kodi, what is it?
Yeah, I think you can't be a twink after 30, maybe 35. It just really depends.
Really?
Yeah, that is my opinion. And I was an old twink. I feel like I was a twink until like 31, 32, and then I started to put on muscle before that, but I feel like I was one of those twinks that had to age out and realize my daddyhood when as I got a little bit older.
I don't like that either. I don't think I've ever been a twink because, like I said, I was a gymnast for so many years, and we were kind of muscular, so I don't think. Yeah, I never had that. But I don't think once if you're saying 30, 35, then you become a daddy? Is it just we're twinks and daddies? There's nothing in between? See, I don't like the fact that we end up going towards you're a daddy then. And it's like.
Well, it depends on what you evolve into. It's like Pokemon. It's like.
But there can't just be twink and daddy. There has to be like life in between twink and daddy. Yes?
A twunk? I think that's
a queer person. I don't like the
queer limbo is where we're at after we're a twink into a daddy, before daddyhood, right after twinkdom.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I guess that's the final word on that. But yeah,
what do you guys think? How do you think you have to be in order to be a twink?
Exactly. We want to hear from you. Put it in there before we move on. Let's stay on the apps, though, really quickly. I think we have time to get to nude or not to nude, don't we, Kodi?
Okay. Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Okay, because we want to do that. We want to give some advice, and then we want to do thirst trap. So there's a lot to get through. There was a recent article to nude or not to know when to reveal everything, and they were asking the question like, when do you send over a nude? And somebody actually who wrote this article decided to give some pics or answers to it, and they said, if he asks, this seems rather obvious, but you'd be surprised how many people say hi and send a pic of their hole like it's a handshake. Newsflash, not everyone wants to see your hole. I don't want to see that or your dick. A lot of people, in fact, want to see your face, chat for a bit. And I think that's actually true that sometimes people send over a pic, and I've almost been guilty thinking immediately, maybe it's because I host a sex podcast, that they immediately want to see me naked. And I'm scrolling around my phone for a naked pic of myself, and then they
You don't have
send
a
something.
folder for that? I have a whole folder
Can you help me
dedicated to
set
that.
it up? Because I'm not
Yes,
really good at that on the
darling.
phone.
Yes,
And thank you.
darling.
And we will do that. But yeah, no, I don't. And so here's another reason to send a pic. He unlocks first. So this is when you could share your nude pics too, where if you're on the apps and somebody unlocks their private pics, then go ahead. I say, they're saying go ahead and show yours first, right? He's looking for fun. His bio doesn't read no nudes, but if you send nudes to someone who says no nudes, you deserve whatever's coming to you. But if he says he's looking to get naked and bang, and you've got some naked pics you like to send, get your pics ready and have at it. So that's when you need that folder. When you're on vacation is another good time. This might feel like a bit of an odd tip, but you know the phrase, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So if you really want to get lucky, according to this advice here that they're giving, on vacation is a good time to send nudes. And then you legit, what was that, Kodi? DGAF?
Don't give a fuck.
Then send your nudes. I really, as somebody that has an OnlyFans, and a Twitter account that anybody could see all of my nudes, I really don't have a problem with any of this, but I won't send them if I'm not totally interested. In other words, I don't, for some reason, like it living on your phone. And I know that sounds crazy because you could see me naked, but I feel like if we already didn't do something out and about, then you're just going to have to wait to see. I mean, depends. I have a friends with benefit that I have sent over. He has to see me put on a jockstrap or my underwear and my G-string, and I filmed it and sent it to him, and he was like all hot and bothered by it. So, but I knew we already have this developed rapport, this friends with benefits. So what do you say to this, Kodi?
I send nude pics like I'm like water basically. I feel like I send them to everybody at all times. I'm one of those don't give a fuck type people because I am I really love my body. I feel like I'm an undercover nudist potentially because I really like being naked and I love my body and I feel like they can see it like you in so many different places. So I send them out willy-nilly and I cut off my head, of course, but they can stitch it together with the face pic that I just sent them and be
Cut out
like, this
Dollet
is
for
Kodi.
you.
Exactly. Like it doesn't matter. So I send them out all the time and I take them all the time. I constantly take nude photos. It's just
Really? They're just in this
I
folder waiting?
I feel like it's an obsession almost. And
No.
I love it. I think it's great. I love to take pictures of myself, obviously from my Instagram. So, send it when you feel comfortable. I think that's the first thing. I talk to the people a little bit, and I feel like I try and connect with them and feel them out before I send them. So, but I send them to everybody.
I should just send them my Twitter account because it's got everything you need to know that's
Exactly.
on there. And here, scroll through it. You'll see what you need to see. And if it works for you, hit me up.
It's like a resume almost. It's like
kind
it's
of my
got
resume. Oh my
it's like
God,
your
you're
job
right.
experience.
Khalidad watching us says, when I was on the sites, my white jockey, what does that say? My short pics brought all the boys to the yard. Oh, I like that.
Hey, he's telling us to
Nice.
keep our clothes on and make them sweat a little bit, and
Okay.
they start sweating when they see that thing. Okay, when they see this cock, they definitely start sweating.
I love it. I'm going to put thirst trap in here, but we're going to give a little bit of advice before we get to that.
Okay.
Kodi, I'll let you pick today's advice that we're going to be given. And while he picks that, you know, we are always here for you. We give sex and relationship advice to you. We'll give our handles at the end of this show, and you can always reach us via that, or you can go to the website, TAGSPodcast.com, where you can always email us via the website. And this one this week is coming in from Reddit. And Kodi, which one did you pick? And if you wouldn't mind reading it, that would be great.
Oh, they deleted the one that I wanted to do. Okay, so we have to do the other one now.
Okay.
So this one is with ads like meet up at XXXX Mall for fun. Where do people actually go? The obvious answer is to take over a stall in a bathroom, but I have a hard time conceptually with this. People walk in, people look through the cracks when they see too many shoes or look to see what the noises are. Wise guys would throw balls of toilet paper or paper towels over the partition. I've never had that happen to me. If this were the case, I think that as in a zillion years of public bathrooms, I have run into I'd run into it a few times. So in a mall or a recreation center or a fitness gym, where do you actually have sex?
This is interesting just because we've been talking about Sniffies, right?
Yeah.
And essentially, Sniffies really is cruising for a bruising, and you're trying to find people to hook up with. You can obviously meet up with them in your homes, but it also has this other side where people will put, I'm at Safeway. For you all Californians out there, it's a grocery store. Or I'm at Macy's, you know, in the bathroom stall area, or a mall. And it's about, or maybe you're in a trail. And the thing about this is, it, you know, we talk a lot about risky sex, and I'm all here for risky sex. I think it's really hot. A friend of mine said, you know, for your OnlyFans, you should try your gym that you're working out at now to get somebody to, although it's a little challenging, but film something in the showers. And I was like, okay, that's going to be a whole thing, and you don't want to get caught. And
Yeah.
so it's called risky
Not at
sex.
your gym. Do it
Yeah.
at somebody else's gym.
Right. And so I just think it's all called risky sex. And that's the whole thing. I mean, I think you got to get clever. If you can't go to your place or you can't go to their place, and you just want to have that kind of risky sex, you need to kind of be kind of your own detective and really scout out the situation and do your best to make sure that you don't get caught and that you feel comfortable having sex in this place so that you can be free and open to have good sex like that. But it's going to take a little bit of research. And, you know, certain parts in LA, they've got some great hiking trails that a lot of people go to. I'm thinking Runyon Canyon, for example.
Mhm.
But you wouldn't want to do it on Runyon Canyon. But there's all these little trails that go up in these little sleuths, right? These little areas that you could potentially, I've had sex with somebody up in those that are away from the crowds. And so I think you just got to be a little bit more like think like a detective, and because you do not want to get caught. It is risky sex and you want to be comfortable. And that's what I have to say. What advice would you give?
I would say I totally agree with you. I think research, research, research. As far as the bathrooms are concerned, I would say make sure you do it in a place that you know there is less foot traffic, because I can't even imagine somebody looking in between the little crack in the stall to see me having sex with them and throwing toilet paper at me. I would go ham. I would go ape shit. One time, I was doing something. I was having sex in a stall, and somebody peeked their head over top of the stall to look at us having sex. It was in a gay club, so it was totally fine.
Oh,
Whatever.
that's happened to me a lot. Yeah.
That's happened to you a
I was
lot.
going to say, was it at a gay club? Yes, because those horny bastards, particularly the one I'm thinking of that we go to here in New York, they're always climbing over, trying to get a looky-loo moment. And I'm like, put your head back down and mind your business over there. This is not your stall moment. Mind your business.
I was trying to live my best
But if that
life
happened
in
at
a stall.
Macy's,
Oh,
if that
yeah.
happened at Macy's, I would be like, hey, you want to join us?
Depending on what they look like. Or do you just want to enjoy the show? Because hello, I'm giving a command performance right now. I should be nominated for an Oscar.
Exactly. Okay, 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 Jenifer. um, that's our advice on that. Okay, this week on Straight Up Gay Porn, they were asking the question, the Thirst Trap recap. Which one of these 12 gay porn stars took the best photo? And it's our job on an audio podcast to vividly describe who we picked. Should I start with mine?
Oh, can I start? Because I feel like we picked the same
Yes,
one.
start.
So my pick is Lydian Gray,
Okay.
and
No.
he is it's a selfie, and he's got on these beautiful cute shorts. They're like a beach palm print, and they're not a speedo, it's just like regular board shorts, kind of sort of, but shorter. And he's got on glasses, and he looks absolutely adorable. He's pulling down the swim trunks a little bit, and he's got this huge cock that is just hanging right out of it. He looks absolutely stunning. His body looks amazing, and yeah, I would totally hook up with him.
I love it. Well, since it is Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, I'm
Of
going
course,
with
sister.
Jacob Ethan Dale, who is looking beautifully smooth and ripped muscles. I mean, his tricep is just like pointing out so hard. He's got a beautiful face, the smoothest skin, amazing ass and abs all together. I mean, his body of death, but his dick is pointing straight up. It's so like rock hard and ready to go. I don't know if I want to
Ooh.
sit on it or put it in my mouth. And he's got these beautiful lips that are full, and he's staring right into the camera, and he's got these great waves that I think he looks really delicious. It also looks like he's in this cabin where I want to
Oh.
be there right now. It's like in the woods somewhere, and it would just be Jacob and myself, and lighting a fire, drinking wine by the fireplace.
Oh,
Doesn't that
wow.
sound like going on hikes every day?
Lovely.
Yeah.
Me and Lydian are in an adjoining room, and there's a pool, and we're going
Who
swimming,
invited you
honey.
two?
We invited ourselves.
Oh, okay. That's right. I forgot you did that. Yeah,
That's
sister.
right. We came to your cabin, sister.
Doug says Swirly gets his vote. I will post this on TAGSPodcast.com, reference episode 563, so you know who we're talking about. Bryce says Lydian Gray for me. Caladad says all good choices, fellas. Okay, great. Yes. I think we covered the gamut on straight up gay porn. Please vote for them. I will vote as soon as I get off of this. We want to thank everybody for tuning in with us because it makes the show so much more fun. The show gets repackaged. It's on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Check out our sponsors and try them out because we get some really good deals. And I'm talking about Joy Mode right now. You get 20% off plus free shipping for their sexual performance booster. It's my go-to right now. And follow Kodi. He's a life coach at KMD Coaching on Instagram or his personal account at Mr. Maurice. Download his song, talk about it wherever you get your music. Plus, he's working on some new music. So stay tuned. Yeah. Follow me on the gram. I am _Steve V, or my Twitter account at TAGSPodcast, where you get a preview of this show, of my OnlyFans, and my Just for Fans. And stay tuned for all that. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Kodi. And in the meantime, continue having
Hot, gay,
gay
sex.
sex.